Okay, we're on. Welcome to Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. Joining me is Jeff Porrini, Jeff the Shark Porrini.
Yes, Jeff the Shark Porrini, absolutely. Thank you very much, Helen, for having me on. It's a pleasure. I'm really excited to be here.
Okay, first of all, just a little backstory because I got to put it out there. We did a podcast already, but we had to re-record it. Well, I had to re-record it because my audio on my end was just so distorted and I just couldn't put out bad quality out there. I did have a friend try to fix it for me, but it just wasn't at the standard that I wanted. So thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me again.
It's my pleasure. I would do it every day of the week. I wish we were neighbors. We could just sit at the same table every day and chat it up.
Yeah. Aw. So, all right, Jeff, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so my program is called the Yo Show, Y-O Show, which is kind of a Philly term. We're based right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're a variety talk show covering mostly entertainment. We air Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook Live at the Stoop Radio Network, YouTube Live at the Yo Show, also on Twitch, and then we also share it to Blog Talk Radio. We've got a great following. We have a new guest on every week from all different walks of entertainment, music or acting, authors. And it's really laid back fun, Helen. It's live, which a lot of people will say is daring, but we love it. We love doing it. It's myself, my partner, Jewel Teti, who I, of course, call my sister from another mister. We become like family in a few years we've been doing it. We're about 150 episodes deep, and it gives me a great thrill. It's a great thrill to reach out to people and meet great people along the line like yourself. Like, this is just a thrill for me to take time during the day and have time to talk to you.
Yeah. And what's really cool about Jeff and Jewel is I was on their podcast too, and you guys did it live. It was a lot of fun. Usually I always find for me, myself, with my busy schedule, I'm actually considering a co-host and I see how much fun everybody's having with their co-host. And I'm like, man, I started out with a co-host, but then, kind of dwindled down because I'm all over the place and they've got a busy schedule. So how do you and Jewel kind of keep that connection going to keep the podcast going with you both staying in line with each other?
That's a terrific question. We communicate a lot. I text Jewel a lot through the day. I know she's got another job. She's also a single mom, so she's very busy. But we keep in contact. There's been subjects where she's like, "Can we bag this?" And we bag it. And there's some she said, "Can we do this?" And we do it. She puts in the homework there. She does the research, and we get together on tons of projects. Her drive is the local Philly music scene. And she is just such an amazing student of that game, and she brings us amazing artists. So when you talk about bringing in a co-host, it's great to have somebody. I'm going to lay it out. It's great to have somebody that's attractive or easy on the eyes, or it's great to have somebody that's funny or somebody that's quirky. But you also have to have somebody who loves it and is as dedicated to it as you are, which Jewel is. Me and Jewel, and I always said 50-50 all the way. We shake hands at the end of it. We become like family. And I mean that truly. We do have a backup co-host, Tiffany Mosher, who's awesome also. And again, it's about their desire to be there, their dedication to it. And I lucked out because Jewel's tremendous.
Yeah, you did. She's awesome. So real quick, I want everybody to know what's behind you, your backdrop.
So these are Funko Pops. Which I've been seeing for a few years. They're basically all types of genre, from musicians to movie characters to pop culture to even something like I've got Boo Berry from the Boo Berry cereal. So it's just everything that are classic, iconic entertainment pieces. I've got about 150 of them, and I just enjoy it. It's something I find fun. It kills the time, keeps me out of trouble, as the missus would say,
So also, I remember bits and pieces of what we talked about last time. It was so good. And I can't wait to talk about it some more because I was kind of thinking about it too. And I was like, man, there's a few questions I wish I would have asked. So I'm actually really glad we're doing this the second time, which is the first time for everybody. But you also said you're starting with a couple partners, a business, brewery, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a brewery, a beer business, tap room. I kind of cheaply snuck some in the background to kind of promote it. And today,
Nice.
while we're recording, now I'm not sure when this airs, but today is National Beer Day. So I've got, a glass of our faithful beer here. Yeah, we've
Nice.
been in the business for a couple of years. A lot of the local Pennsylvania bars have taken to it. They've loved it. It's got a great following. It's called LoSo Brewing Company, LoSo, which stands for Lower Southampton, which is the township
Hmm.
we're going to be working out of. At last check, come probably September, October, we're going to have a big 9,500 square foot structure, which I mean bar for a tap room. We're going to have indoor cornhole and video games and contests. And there's even whispers about even putting in a Yo-Show sound booth and doing a show from there and bringing in our live bands to play on our stage, have a little interview, and have their people come and just build one giant community.
Yeah, that's something I remember us talking about. And I was like, dang, that sounds so exciting. I love the creativeness that you and your partners have developed. Let me take a look at those beers here. Put them in the video. I want to see. Now, these are the ones that you create at your brewery?
We, at the moment, are still what is known as contracts. So we make it on a base scale, and another company makes it on a broad scale. That's why come October, when we open the doors, we're going to be making everything in-house 100%. But the one here, if I can get it up there, this is a beer known as the Hazy Dragon. You see like a red dragon.
Oh,
with
that's
the
cool.
flames. Thank you. So it's a what is known as a New England IPA. So it's kind of a East Coast IPA beer. It's got limited hops in it, some sweet citrus flavor. So very popular. It's our most popular beer. It's selling like crazy, and we're very proud of that. And the other one is more of a fall one. It's known as a spiced ale. It's called Brownsville Bonfire Ale. Kind of see that a little bit there.
Yeah, the art
We
on
also,
that's really cool.
thank you. We sneak cheap little things in. Like if you look over here, there's a picture of my dog. That little fellow right there is my dog. So we sneak something of each of us into the cans, and my dog became one of the little pieces. The artwork is great. We have an artist out of Pittsburgh, and we say, look, here's what we want. We want some dude sitting by a bonfire drinking some beer with the dog. And the next thing you know, without even sketching, she's like, how's this? And she's just always done such amazing work. If you want to check out more, it is www.LoSo Brewing Company, one long word, LoSoBrewingCompany.com. And you can find out our beers, our beginning story, if you're ever in PA, where you can find out the streets. So until October, when we open our own spot.
That is so cool. So what's really interesting is I've been listening to a lot of, business podcasts, entrepreneur podcasts. And, these are things that I was thinking about when I was, knowing you were coming back on. And I was thinking, gosh, that entrepreneur spirit in you, and I see your art on your beer can. For me as an author, I remember when I got, I had the vision, I put it on my book cover, and then here it is in my hand. Like, how was it like the same feeling as having like, this idea, birthing a baby, sort of like this is in your hand now?
110%. We're, like I said, there's four of us all together. And my longtime good buddy, CJ, does the brewing, and he's a mastermind. The recipes are his, and he creates these awesome beers. And there's me. I'm more of the salesman, the mouth, the promotion guy. We have two guys that are construction and behind the scenes with that. But we all have a business knowledge as well. But everybody's got their own little piece. And you're thinking, okay, it's neat. We all got a little something. But when we got a shipment of these, and I was going to hold one in my hand and crack it open and pour it into a glass and drink it, it's like this. It's undescribable. Like it's like birthing a baby. It's like it's your blood, sweat, and tears. Which is beautiful. And then when your friends reach out and say, hey, I need to buy some, and you go to a little bar to see people sitting there drinking it, and bars are blowing my phone up like, hey, I need more. I need more. I need more. The feeling is incredible. And as you know, it's kind of like views on your podcast. I know when I see people view, like I see 2,000 views, I'm like, wow, like people like me. It's a great feeling.
It is a great feeling. And you mentioned the blood, sweat, and tears. And, I know we joked around a lot last time, but I mean, really, like I think about my day-to-day, to-do lists and my day-to-day projects. And I'm like, nobody really gets to see behind the scenes, and I don't really talk about it as much. I'm more hype up what I'm doing because, as an entrepreneur, you're everything. You're playing all parts. Even though you're doing the sales, you're also like masterminding. You're also helping with the people who are helping in the behind the scenes,
Yes.
building your friends up when they're feeling like I'm overwhelmed. And you play really all parts, right?
Yeah, yesterday, as a matter of fact, I packed my car up and I drove an hour up north to drop stuff off and meet some of the great people, and then an hour back to my home base and an hour out the other way to deliver more. But it seemed like a 6-hour day, and but in all honesty, Helen, sorry, I goofed it up a little bit. In all honesty, 6 hours on the road, shaking hands, making people smile, meeting them, and presenting yourself beats even an hour working a hard grind for somebody else. It's incredible. It's a great feeling. And as we discussed, he said last time we joked around a lot. That's me. If I can't joke around, I'm dead. I'm going to be an eternal crowd. As you see from this, my wife made a funny post yesterday on Facebook because I said something about, I posted a picture of us from 10 years ago when we first met. And I said, when we were little, and she's like, little, look at this guy. She posts all these and my giant Star Wars figures. And she's like, look at this little kid. I would be an eternal little kid because it just makes me happy.
Yeah, I'm a big jokester too. I think that's why we get along so well.
Absolutely. I love it. And like I said, last time we pretty much stop with the smiles and the laughs again here. And when you're on our show, that's what I love to do. I like being funny and amusing people, but not like clown funny, just like everything's upbeat, man. We're on Earth. We're on the right side of the grass. We all get an opportunity every day to do new things and talk to new people and say new things. So why not? We can't beat it.
Yeah. I was thinking about this. I don't know why it came to me, but I used to play house a lot when I was a kid, or I used to play like I was, with your friends in the street, like, okay, look, I'm going to be this person and you're going to be that person. We were always playing adult some way. Right. And now that we're older, I don't know why, but sometimes I still get those flashbacks of like, am I still playing adult? Have I grown up? Am I just playing adult, but now I'm making money? And that's really the only difference, like making money and paying bills. Is that the difference now? You know what I mean? It's so weird.
It might be. And, me and my wife always say that we go out and we hang out with other couples. And they're like, I watch you and you guys don't really argue and you don't really sweat. We do in the household, and there's some stress sometimes. But at the end of the day, we always say, like, there's not enough time in the day to argue. There's nothing that can't be talked out. And we try to limit the stress. And I tell you what, knock on wood, it works out really good.
Yeah. How long have you and your wife been together?
We've been together, like I said, close to 10 years. We've been married for 3. Can I edit that? Up to you. And I said all along, like there was never a rush. She's 11 years younger than me. So she's a little bit under in life, but there was never a rush of, put a ring on me or what are we doing here? It was always compromise. We always had a system in place. And in the beginning, like I said, she was going to college and working as a waitress, and I was bringing home like the big money and supplying the bills. Now it's kind of turned a little. Got a terrific job. Everything's a 50-50 partnership in life. That's key. It's got to be partnership. There's times where she's like, want to go kayaking? And I'm like, sure, I'll go kayaking. And there's sometimes I'm like, oh, you want to go down to the Phillies game, get tickets? She's like, sure, I'd love to go to the Phillies game with you. So, there's always a compromise.
How much do you think it's important that a spouse supports you in your business endeavors? Because I know that there's I'm a part of a lot of entrepreneur groups, and there's a lot of women in there who say, my spouse doesn't support me. How do I get them to support me? I mean, do you feel like that's, did she always support you, or did you guys have a little bit of a crossroads with that?
We had never a crossroad, but you get those riffs that turn into discussions. But that's great because it shows me that she cares. And I hate to put anybody on the spot that watches or listens, or friends of yours or friends of mine. I hate to put anybody on the spot. But if you don't have 100% belief in your spouse or the dedication to your spouse, that's an issue. Because I believe in her all the way. She keeps saying, "Oh, I get this promotion. Should I take this job?" Or I got this offer and I don't know if I want to take it. I support all her decisions, and she does mine. She's excited about the brewery. she talks about it when she doesn't think I'm listening, like on the phone with her family.
Mhm.
It's like, the brewery's so good, the beer's so good. And I love that. And even the show, like sometimes she'll stick her face right on the corner of my show and come on talking. And so she believes in me and I believe in her. That's important. It really is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. So with your show, who's been your most memorable guest
That's a great question. I know we
besides
touched on
me?
it last time. Well, there goes my answer. Next question. I do really enjoy having fellow podcasters on. I've had you on. I had the wonderful Maria Daniels, Tina Marie Trimpert's been on. And it's great because podcasters kind of get the gist of it. They know how it's going to be approached. They know when to talk. They keep talking, which is great. So that is big for me. We had a stick out. Also, well, I'm going to say 3 guests that stick out in my mind. And I feel bad to leave anybody out. Steve Howie, who's on Shameless, he plays Big Kev in Shameless, the bartender. So cool because I watch every weekend and I laugh watching his character. I love him. He comes on and he's so cool and so generous and just great things to say. That was great. Brianna Dale, who is an Instagram influencer, if you will. She's a model. Got the biggest listens. We had over 10,000 people tune in. We got her to do shots with us. We all got a little tipsy. It got a little carried away, but it was
That's
great
awesome.
fun. That was great fun though. And my third one has to be really getting into podcasting. You always look back to the people you loved as a kid. And one of my favorite actresses was always Nancy Valen. She's been on Baywatch. She was in. She appeared on Saved by the Bell and just so many episodes of different programs. And when I got her on, it was like the first person I remember from growing up and watching movies. I was just in awe, and I still have had. I've had her on twice. She's sweet as can be, and always consider her to the show. So I love that.
Oh man, that's so cool. And so who's your next podcast guest coming up?
So actually, we run. I know we're airing. I know we're recording today, so we air tonight, which would be Wednesday night. Tonight we have an amazing woman on. It's a local artist named Sharon Lia, Lia. But the reason it makes it so great, Helen, she's got a program called Ladies Who Rock for a Cause. So every year they concert of female artists. This year, I think they have, and they put on, this year it's going to be virtual, of course, because of COVID, but they put on a show charity, all these amazing female artists. I'm a very big supporter of female artists, and I love it. I think, they talk about the equality. I believe in it because women tend to be more passionate about their art, which I love. And some of these female artists are terrific. So she's going to come on the show and talk about that. And then next week, April 14th is one of our all-time best. It's a pop singer, British pop singer by the name of Aaron Paul, who now lives in the States, but he's a British pop star. His outfits are always great. And he designs his own clothes. He's into fashion. He's a pop singer. And the people melt for him because he's just so energetic. And that's what we look for. We look for high energy.
Yeah, for sure. And so how do you guys find your podcast guests? Do you like target somebody, or do you come across them? I know how we found each other through the indie podcast, but do you find them in all sorts of places and somebody just sticks out to you? Because, I know with me, myself, so many people are constantly reaching out to me and, can I be a guest on your show? I want to be a guest on your show. And I've now come to the point where I'm filtering and it's like, okay, everybody's great. You guys are all great. We're not counting anybody. It's just certain people sticks out as a fit for our show. So how do you filter yours?
The beauty of variety talk, as I always call it, is there's so many people from different ranges that it makes it a little easier. And we use websites to find agents and you say, hey, I like your star. Something that's been decent lately has been Instagram. And because a lot of these upcoming actresses or models or singers will have an email on Instagram, just email them, say, hey, how would you like to come on? IMDb, of course, which is, where all the agents go and where you find all the stars. Some are on Facebook. I've had people come out to me and say, hey, how about my friend? My friend does this and that. And like I said, our co-host, Tiffany, she started as an author. And a buddy of mine said, hey, this girl lives by me. She's an amazing author, an amazing person. Had her on, talked about her book. She was incredible. She became a fan of the show. Now she does backup co-hosting. So sometimes it's the people you don't really look for just pop out and away you go. Also, Facebook. You will find sponsors that will pop up on your feed, whether you follow them or not. And then just give a listen, like, hey, I like that music. Let's pursue. Olivia King, beautiful young lady, excellent singer, fun dancer. She's a lot of fun. And she popped up on my Facebook, like upcoming artists. And I liked it. And I emailed her and away we went.
Yeah, that's really cool that you get the it's kind of like well, I had a visual. I do visuals. It's like your what do they call them? The gold hunters, they're going out there and they're doing this with the gold, and like you're getting the little nuggets of pieces of gold that people are kind of often missing. And then those are the, up and coming. You're like, oh my gosh, I talked to them way back in the day, for you and Jewel having a lot of musicians and influencers on, and I think that's so neat because there's a lot of unique people that people are often missing. So that's really awesome.
It's very cool, especially with up and coming artists, because they're new to the scene, or even if they've been playing for years and are still local, to them it's like, hey, we're on a talk show. Like, we got asked to be on a talk show. And they make such a big deal out of it on their social media, and they come so correct on our show. And we've had artists say, we were nervous. We never interviewed. We didn't know if you guys were going to hit us with crazy questions or if you were going to be short and brief. You guys were a lot of fun. We feel relaxed. And that's what we like. That's the goal. I'll say it now. We don't have to talk politics. We don't have to talk major issues. There's plenty of shows doing that. TV does that. I want you to turn on it Wednesday night at 8:00. I want you to turn it on. I want you to sit, and every once in a while I want you to laugh. At the end of the night at 10:00, or even if you just watch for a half hour and leave at the end, I want you to say, that was pretty funny. I feel good. I feel entertained. It's all amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I find, I think about that too. I'm like, am I trying to be an interviewer? Am I trying to really get to know this person? I was like, man, like you and other podcasters I've had on, like, you're all like, I really like, I'm like, man, this is an individual. This is a human being. Like, who are they? What are they about? What do they think? Jeff, what do you think about when nobody's looking besides, that? But you know what I mean? Like, it just, where's the juice at, man?
What I think about when nobody's looking, I get in the mirror and I look at this beard and I'm like, damn, look at this guy. I know what they're looking at.
I know that. That's funny. Okay, so this is okay. You know how people say I like to people watch?
Yes.
I don't know why, but I never tell people that. It's almost like I'll hang out with somebody and they'll say it first before I say it. Well, in fact, I won't even say it because it's just an obvious. People like to people watch, right? But then I always think like, well, you told me you like to people watch. What exactly draws your first attention? Is it the shoes? Is it the pants? Like, what are you looking at? Is it the way people walk? Because there's thousands of people. Okay, let's just say you're at a park. Yes. Thousands of people are walking by. You tell me I like to people watch. Well, you can't see every single one person. Like, what is grabbing your attention versus the person next to you?
Okay, well, I'm going to go with a couple. The first one is going to be rated R, so I'll keep it clean. First of all, men look for the bounce, because obviously there's women jogging. No, sure, you look for, I do look for, like, beauty in people. Like, my wife knows, my does the same thing. We look for beauty in people. If you see a pretty person, you're going to say, that's a pretty person. And you're looking to see what makes them. Or the quirky, like a guy that'll come out and, like, this blazer with orange flames on, and you're looking and say, what made him choose that shirt? Watch him and kind of catch his demeanor. And then there's just people that keep to themselves, and you're like, why? Like, totally stoic. Maybe they'll be listening to music or so in their own zone. You're like, wonder why? And you just kind of peer at them. But I do love people watching. People can be really teach you things, or they can make you learn things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I always wonder, like, I wonder if they're happy. I wonder if they're okay. So I've got this secret obsession I've had since I was a kid. Well, obviously a lot of people know about mental health today, but
sure.
I have an uncle I grew up with who's got schizophrenia, and there was a lot of abuse in our family. And so I always think, and now I'm listening to true crime all the time on my road trips. And I never used to before, but now I am because I don't watch the news. But what's funny is I'm like, I wonder if they're psychopaths. Like, do they have psychopathic tendencies? Are they really a narcissist? Like, what are they hiding? I don't know why my mind goes there real quick. And it's just because it's bewildering to me, that
Yeah.
type of mentality.
Everybody's got a different, like, little personality trait, or I even say personality glitch. I get them. I never noticed them. It's just kind of like maybe like a zone out thing. People like, yeah, sometimes you're watching, you just zone out, which I don't notice. Again, it comes to knowing people. Like I said, when I found Jewel, Jewel was referred to me by her, get this right, Jewel's brother's fiance is a great friend of mine, longtime friend. And I put out, hey, I'm looking for a female co-host. And I had a lot come up, a lot of the cupcake, fancy looking ones in the bikinis. And, ooh, I want to be on the show. And then she said, this girl said to me, do you mind talking to Jewel? Jewel is my, fiance's sister. Communications degree from Penn State University. That was awesome. She interned with Danny Bonaducci here in Philly, which was awesome. But still, you don't know. And we went to this bar, and I'm nervous. My wife said, what's the matter? I'm like, I don't know who's coming through the door. I don't know who I'm getting. I said, this girl is somebody that's going to be very integral to me. And when I say, like, when I say click, within a minute, what she said and what her desires were, it's everything I longed for. Because when I first started in this, it was a New York-based show. I'm not really a New York guy, no offense. I'm a guy. She wanted to be Philly, and she wanted to do local people. And we even do local business now. We'll interview some local business people at the back end of our show just to get them seen. And she said, I want to do this and that, and I'll research, and we'll do homework and questions. And I said, well, you realize, like, I don't care. That was the nail in the coffin.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The working for free thing nailed it. And then we got a cup winner, and I got her on stage to karaoke. And that's when I knew that this was my, as I call her, my platonic love. Like, I love her. I love her to death. Not like family-wise. I love her to death. She's amazing.
Yeah. And there's got to be that certain, fearlessness and courageousness that comes with somebody doing podcasting. And I try to get people on sometimes, like a few of my friends, and they're like, oh, I don't know what to say. And I feel like I got to write everything down. And I'm just like, I think, that whole saying, do something that scares you every day or get out of your comfort zone. This is a perfect opportunity for that.
Absolutely.
It does scare people.
Yeah. Some people love it. Like, some people just absolutely desire it. We did real quick story. We did an 18-hour marathon show last year for a local food drive. When COVID was big, a lot of people needed food and all that. So we did a drive, an 18-hour marathon where we had a bunch of artists come on and sing. They've donated money. They donated gift cards. They donated food. And we helped out with that. And during the day, a buddy of mine who I used to work with here moved to South Carolina, and he always watches the show. And he's like, dude, I'm out back grilling. I'm like, I'm going to send you the link. Come on the show. He's like, what? Like, come on the show. He comes on. He's having some beers. He's grilling food. He's just chit-chatting. So some people love the opportunity. And like next week, we're going to have one of the local bars, Chickies and Peach, which is huge here. They carry our beer. The assistant manager is having a charity drive. She said, do you mind if I come on the back end of the show about the charity, talk about your beer? So, some people love the opportunity. Where some people are like, ooh, I got to get on and talk. No, that's not me.
Yeah. I think the beer is a great improvise for that. Like, hey, you nervous? Have one of these LoSos,
Absolutely. And I'm not lying when I tell you, Jewel and I still to the day, she'll tell you a little liquid courage goes a long way.
Yeah. Oh man, I've been thinking, I always do that. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a wine night on my podcast. I'm going to do it. Like last night was a great example. I was like, okay, I'm going to do some wine and just do a solo cast. Right. Well, that didn't go the way I thought. I ended up watching Walking Dead and drinking wine and just like on the edge of my seat. And I'm just like, I'm not kidding when I say The Walking Dead. I'm restarting it because I kind of fell off. I don't know if you ever got into Walking Dead.
I fell way off after like the second season. I feel bad because my wife is a TV binge watching junkie, and she always gets mad at me. She'll get never watch anything, and I don't. I feel bad. Breaking Bad was the last show to finish.
See, I'm not a big binger either. In fact, I like, I'm kind of, I do a lot of road trips, like a lot. In fact, when I started doing my podcasting this year, I was like every Tuesday. And then, you were my last one. And then I ended up I was out of service when you're doing a lot of road tripping, and I don't really stack up. I don't really do a lot of pre-recording. I used to, but I really wanted things like fresh, it's kind of like having like fresh meat. And, and so then I yeah,
fresh meat, everybody.
fresh meat. See it here. But so I was like, okay, I'm on the road, and there was a part of me that had a little bit of anxiety. I was like, oh my God, I'm not keeping up with my podcasts, and then I just thought, it's all, you're gonna be all right, but did you die? You're fine.
Right.
So I got into Wondery and these true crime shows, and talking about a 16-hour road trip, like, hey, that you'll finish a book, you'll finish, these true crimes. At the end, you will know who did it. So
I am so bad on road trip because you come to that agreement where everybody's going to take a turn driving, and I'm the guy after a half hour, like, guys, switch. Like, dude, you didn't even get in the car yet. Like, yeah, I'm tired, so I'm not a good driver.
Wait, hold on, Jeff. You're cutting out for a second. You're cutting out.
Ooh. We good?
You're a little staticky. I don't know what happened. Okay.
I don't think anything. Well, let me try and readjust myself.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Don't move. Just
don't
kidding.
But I said when it comes to road trips, I'm not the best partner to have because you come into that agreement and everybody's going to take turns driving, but I'm the guy after a half hour, I'm done driving. And like everybody's supposed to take a 4-hour trip, and the guy drove for a half hour and finished.
Oh man. Yeah. My boyfriend will drive and drive and drive, but we switch when I get to the city. I'm a city driver. He's a country driver. He's a road rager if we go in the city and he's driving. I can't have that because I'm more about Zen and peace. So it's just like the moment I see him go from like blue to red, I'm just like, let me drive, and then I'm the music blaster. He's the podcast true crimer. That's why I got into that. Like you were saying earlier, you got to kind of, compromise a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I find it funny because she tells a lot of people, she's like, my husband's so calm and very little bothers him. And I just amazed at the way he has no stress. And then 20 minutes later, us and another couple will get in the car and I'm like, you son of a cut me off. And they're like, this is the quiet, calm guy? Like, look at this guy. I got a red face. So driving brings it out in people. It really does.
Yeah, driving totally. I always have this vision, like I wish, and I'm not a bad person for saying this. I just got to say, but this goes on in my head. I have this vision of like getting this egg and just throwing it at somebody and then getting flour and just doing this. But then I get like I feel bad because I'm like, well, what if there's kids in the car? And I'm like, dang, that was just that's my road ragey part where I visualize doing bad things and then I feel bad for it.
Yeah, I get it. My one of my buddies calls me Mr. Softy because I never lay into people. He's like, lay into that guy. I'm like, no, it's okay. It'll be all right. Did you die? No, we're alive.
Yeah, that's so weird that you're like road ragey, but then like in person, you're just like, meh.
Yeah, right. Life goes on. And also depends, like I said, depends on the scenery. Like you talk about podcasts and some of these people that get on and talk about these hard subjects and they get angry. But I'm here and I'm hanging out with you. You got your hat on backwards. You got a cool baby Yoda. Man, you got a big smile on your face. That calms me. I could be having the worst day of my life, and I could sit down here for an hour and talk to you, and just it all goes away.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, you never know what's really going on behind the scenes. And when I'm talking to somebody, I'll be like, hey, let's just go grab a drink, let's hang out. Because, and I think about that a lot too, with the idea of being an entrepreneur and being a speaker and being a coach, and everybody's looking at this idea of you, like you're like, oh, like you can do no wrong. And I'm like, man, if you knew all the things I do wrong throughout the day.
Come see me some Saturday night at 3:00 in the morning after I had some drinks at the bar and Ubered over to Wawa. Sauce running down my face and chips on my lap. Dogs eating chips off my leg. Yeah, go see that guy. That'll tell you.
I know. I'm the girl that you find, like I had a Vegas weekend with my friends, and I'm like the girl who starts it all. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
I got the wild ideas. Let's do this, And everybody talks about being authentic and being genuine, being yourself. I mean, you're not just one person. I mean, one personality. You're like a bunch in one person.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Everybody should be. There's some people that aren't. I get it. Some people have a very stoic approach, and they feel always be thinking, which I do. I always be thinking, what kind of trouble can I get into next? And my wife's the same way. And I joke around how like we go out, and there's nights we drive, and we realize one of us has to be responsible. And she looks at me, and I look at her, and we're like speed drinking, like you're driving.
Yeah. That's so funny.
It becomes a race, like, and you're watching each other. You try and have time and ignore, but you're looking at it and like, that's 3 for her, and I'm still on 1. Can I get a couple over here, please? And you got to race.
I need some shots to get ahead of this one.
We're very responsible, though. We usually stay close to home for those kind of nights, and we do definitely exercise, the Uber and Lyft. That's something I'll teach everybody out here. And even on our show, we drink and have fun, but always do it responsible. Very dangerous. So we do it very responsibly. Again, that goes with partnership. Like she's like, look, we'll get the car in the morning. It's not worth the ticket. It's not worth the damage. It's not worth our lives. So, yeah, we do it responsibly, but we do.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm right there with you. Like my boyfriend's so responsible. I told him like I'm a drinker. So he's so sweet. He's always like, "Are you gonna drink?" Yeah. So he drinks water. And I'm like, wow, okay. Well, I scored. I scored. Like, thank you. And he's really good. And yesterday I went and had mimosas with his sister, and he dropped me off and picked me up. And it's so important because, well, I had a DUI in the past. I ain't trying to get another one. I know how devastating that can be. And trust me, you guys, like a $50 or even $100 Uber is nothing compared to a DUI. So get that Uber. Or walk home, take the bus, whatever you gotta do. It's so true.
Yeah. I won't give away the secrets of being in PA. If I ever were to get a DUI, I'm out of the beer business. Just telling you. So it's. But when we had those turns for tonight, she's like, "Oh, you do the drinking, and I'll be relaxed." Well, I crack my knuckles and tell everybody to stand back, and I make a little display of it.
Yeah,
it's important. Yeah, it's definitely important to know. It's better to know going in what the end game is going to be.
So let me ask you this then. I know I've been told this, but I just got to hear it from you, for somebody who's got to have a brewery, pretty much have it already. What they say, if you have wine, don't drink beer. If you have beer, don't drink liquor, right? Is that rule? Like, is that serious? Is that a real thing? Like, don't, mix it up?
It's kind of the mentality of, and I hate to use this term. It's a street slang term, but everybody's heard it. It's don't get high on your own supply, as they say. So kind of the goal of the show there in the booth, during the show, I'll have a beer or two of my own within a place. But people that walk into your place that, hey, I'm going to get lit on my own beer, or I'm going to swing this glass on liquor, you kind of take it other places. And that's kind of like an unwritten rule at least in PA, it's an unwritten rule. I'll go to a restaurant, I'll go to a bar, and I'll see an owner from another bar walk in. I'm like, what are you doing here? You can drink for nothing. He's like, no. You don't let your patrons see you, being ridiculous. So that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. My sister and husband owned a bar in Oregon, and I was their bartender, and they would rarely drink at their own place. They would only come in, do, make sure everything was good, the employees are good, and then they'd leave, and then we go somewhere else, and they would only drink there. So yeah, every once in a while they'd go in and drink in their own bar just to let their employees know, like, they love them. They're there,
Yeah. I mean,
But I get
it's gonna be really tough when we first turn that key and I walk in and see all our glorious beers and taps, and I'll be sitting there drinking water, watching everybody else have a blast. But you gotta have some sense
yeah.
in your head, and sense and beer don't always go together.
And I believe that to be true. Fact. Fact check right
Yeah,
there.
yes,
Are you going to
exactly.
record it? Are you going to do like a video recording of like the opening? You know how they got the slow-mo where you're like, walking in? Are you going to do any of that?
We got some ideas. My partners love the fact that I have this platform. I always say it's by LoSo Brewing, even though I don't take money for it or whatever. Just it's one of the things. Hey, we're sponsored by LoSo Brewing. This way, people get the name. So I'd like to have a grand opening. I also like to do behind the scenes videos and all that and post it.
Yeah.
So I think it's really fun. It's fun. Like I said, we talk about blood, sweat, and tears. It's kind of fun to see where it all came from when you hear things about, because you're going to squabble no matter what. Lesson number one, you get the problem no matter. There's always things that are going to come up that not everybody likes. It's part of the business. And at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, you're like, you came up with that idea. I thought it stunk. And here it is, pretty good. So always
Yeah.
listen, always open your ears. And like I said, the end result, like my wife says, oh, what about this investment? What about this idea you had that got canned? And I said, you know what? In the end, the door opens, it'll be forgotten all about.
Yeah. Man, I'm so excited for you and all the
And
endeavors, the Yo show. And I'm looking forward to seeing the pictures, of everything. And God, I got to wrap this up, but I just want to thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you?
absolutely, thank you very much. Again, is the Yo Show is the name of our program. We air live Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We usually run to about 10 o'clock. Myself and Jewel Teti. You can find the show at www.theyoshow215.com. We air live on YouTube Live at the Yo Show. Facebook is the Stoop Radio Network, and we're also on Twitch. We're catching up with the youngsters. We're on Twitch also at the Yo Show. Like I said, live, but the recording stays on forever, as you know. So feel free to watch us, and we take viewer comments. So if you want to watch, come on, comment, say, hey, I saw you on Helen's show, and you're the second best podcast besides hers. And I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Oh, man. All right. I
You're
am going to put all your information also in the show notes. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on. And I look forward to seeing
absolutely.
everything you're building. And you're very much an inspiration. Say hello to Jewel. But thanks for coming on.
Yeah.